Man, we are seeing the vulnerabilities of superstars, like, right before our very eyes. Like, it's literally like the world is Kevin Durant's couch, and he's just on it. And depending on whatever his mood is that particular day, that's what he's going to express. And I can appreciate that because we ask for honesty from these guys. We ask them, don't be robots, don't be like Russell Westbrook, don't shut us down. And then when they give it to us, there's like this backlash.
Russell Wilson.
No, he's saying
Westbrook.
You're saying next question. Next question.
Really? Oh, okay, yes, absolutely.
No,
Thank you.
Not that Russ. Come on now.
Those manufactured answers.
That's a little bit.
Okay, V.
That Russ is a little bit different, CC. I don't know which Russ we getting when he pops up. But no. But I will say this: KD also has to understand that the reason that he's able to get the endorsements and everything else is because of the intimacy the NBA provides, that there's no helmets, that we expect players to be more open and honest, and that sometimes you have to be careful about what you say. And he's talked out of both sides of his mouth for a number of years. But here's the thing. Has Kevin Durant meant a lot to the media landscape until his last year at Oklahoma City? Or was he just a really good player who was coming up on free agency and made a decision that a lot of people didn't like? He was the second best player for a number of years and did not garner the attention that LeBron and Kobe and all these other guys got. So for him to say, they need me, as in the media, we kind of don't, because you kind of didn't register, you know, for a number of years besides just being a great player.
And Kevin Durant, to me, is right and wrong. He's right that an enormous amount of a disproportionate amount of the conversation about during this NBA season about where it has been about where will he go. But that's because he's such a great player.
Yes.
And when he teamed up with an equally great player in Steph Curry for a team that had already won a championship, it removed what we normally spend our time talking about during the regular season, which is who's going to win the championship. So we have this void to fill of talking points about the NBA, and it's not a whole bunch about who's going to win the title.
But it's also the pending free agency, because, yes, even if we just had the normal traffic flow as who was going to win, Nick, that would be normal. But we would still be talking about who's going to be a free agent.
Of course.
So we have other people that are going to be a free agent, and look at the people who have struggled and those who have been successful. Kawhi Leonard, look at his approach. Look at Kyrie Irving. Look at his approach. So not only the championship, those questions should be there because they're that kind of talented basketball team. But how he handled free agency brought a lot of that traffic to him.
That's where he's gotten this wrong. We don't talk about every pending free agent like this. And you can say, KD can say, oh, well, it's just because I'm this great. Man, LeBron last year damn near won league MVP. We weren't talking about his pending free agency like this. He wasn't in some malaise because he shut it all down. Kevin Durant, the first time when he was in OKC, everyone knew he was a pending free agent. It didn't cause this type of daily controversy or talking point because he was not engaging in it. Kevin Durant, and this is where my biggest criticism of him comes, he's got to take ownership for how much of this is his own doing. Nobody told Kevin Durant, starting a few years ago, to do a multi-part, multi-hour podcast series with Bill Simmons, where he lays it all to bear. No one told Kevin Durant to do these multi-part, multi-hour podcasts with Chris Haynes, to do things where he is constantly talking to us about his feelings, about his plans, about his emotions. If you are going to talk to us about those things, we are interested in them, and then the fans are interested in them. And then on these shows, we will discuss what is interesting. Kawhi Leonard does not get the money that Kevin Durant gets off the court.
Right.
Because he's not talked about. He's made that choice to not be interesting. There's a good and a bad side to that.
And there's another part that they let the family business out. Jenna, if I was to leave this show, who do you think would be the first one to know?
Well, hopefully me and Nick.
Absolutely. When Draymond Green...
like, wait, what's going on? She couldn't even answer the question.
She didn't know what... She's like, what's the right answer?
You made Jenna panic.
You know I'm already anxious.
It was an easy
answer. Draymond Green, because there's a number of things. The Warriors, they're going to draw some traffic. KD, because who he is, he's going to draw Warner some attention. But when Draymond said that, we can't forget that. Draymond told him, you can leave now. We didn't make this kind of stuff up. So regardless, even if we weren't questioning the Warriors in their championship run, we weren't questioning free agency, what him and Draymond did, That exchange right there would lead us to where we are anyway, Vince.
And the crazy thing is, I had a conversation. I sat in between those two guys in a locker in Brooklyn, like a week before that, and having just a great basketball life conversation with the both of them. You would have never known that would have happened a week later. I've never had anything but positive interactions with Kevin Durant from a media standpoint, but I also don't have to deal with him every day. To that point, I'll say this. Out of all the things, and I've had to write some non-flattering stories about guys throughout my career. When they've come to me, I've said, look, you can be upset about what I wrote, or you can be happy about what I know, but I didn't write. Be glad we're only talking about your professional decisions on the floor and sort of the residuals off the floor.
Yeah, this is not personal.
This is nowhere near personal. And this is I'm a person who said him going to Golden State was a great thing for basketball because we got to see him play in that perfect system compared to being in Oklahoma City where he was shackled and sort of playing with Russ and all of that.
Okay.
I think this was a great thing for him, a great thing for basketball, regardless of what he does next. So I don't think he should look at this as a negative, even if he goes to New York and has to start over.
And you wrote that right around the time you and I were getting to know each other, and it's still your worst basketball opinion yet. However, one last note. There are two guys, This
from the guy who says LeBron's the greatest player ever.
All right, let's not do that right now. Yeah. I took a shot. That's fair. There are two pending free agents that we dissect, Kyrie and KD. KD had the incident with Draymond that you talked about. You know what Kyrie did? Kyrie is the one who went at the TD Garden, is that what it's called in Boston, on the court before the season, said, man, oh, happy to be here for the rest of my career if you'll have me. Kyrie is the one that recorded that commercial where he's with his dad saying one day they're going to hang my jersey in the rafters. And then Kyrie's the one who months later said, man, I'll deal with that on July 1st. I don't owe anybody bleep. When you do that, it now draws us in more. If Kawhi Leonard had given a press conference and said when he was traded for the Raptors, man, I'm going to be here forever. And a couple months later, it was like, man, L.A. looks awful nice this time of year. We talk about that more often. If Klay Thompson had given any oxygen whatsoever to the idea he could leave, well, you don't think people would be pairing up Klay with LeBron? His dad played there. His dad's a broadcaster there. He loves L.A. What would we have given just the story of him jumping in the ocean?
Oh, absolutely.
When he said, man, up north it's too cold, but down here it's nice. If Klay had given that story any oxygen,
great point,
we would have said, oh, is this a sign? But he didn't. KD chose to. That's his prerogative. But just like it's his prerogative to talk, it's our prerogative to talk about what he's talking about.
It's a chicken or egg with KD. Yes. Say something crazy, we ask about it, then he complains, well, why do you guys keep calling me crazy? Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.